crazy Thanksgiving is just around the corner. For you, Ryan, Thanksgiving food, the meal itself, is it your favorite meal of the year, or is there any other meal that even compares to a Thanksgiving spread? Because I don't know if there is.
Yeah, so it's not my favorite meal of the year.
It's not?
No.
What's your favorite?
It's Super Bowl.
That's
Dude,
very fair.
the Super Bowl is like catered to me. I love hot wings.
Finger foods.
Finger foods. Yeah, like the world is at your display in front of you, you know? Like nachos and dips and pizza
Well, we will, because Thanksgiving is around the corner, we are going to talk Thanksgiving foods in this episode.
So not Super Bowl.
Not Super Bowl, but come Super Bowl, you and I might be having a similar conversation.
Amen.
We are going to do a Thanksgiving draft.
Oh, fantastic.
Food draft. So that'll be a lot of fun. So let's get into the episode. Welcome into Beyond Sunday. And this episode, we are going to break down our very own Ryan Parquette's message from this past Sunday. I'm your host, Luke, joined by Ryan. So we will be going through that. But first, Ryan, how are you?
Oh, I'm great.
You're doing well?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
We don't have much going on at the Springs right now.
No.
There's nothing really.
Nothing at all.
But I do want to talk Thanksgiving. That's coming up. My thought process is our episode next week will go out the day before Thanksgiving. And I think that I just am assuming we're going to have a lower viewership because we are right around the time of Thanksgiving. So in this episode, we will break down your message. We will do a Thanksgiving food draft. And we also want to talk to you guys and remind you that this Sunday, November 24th, we are celebrating the 30th anniversary here at the Springs. It'll be from 11:30 in the morning. We're cutting that noon service in Ocala. All the other campuses should have time to get here for the 11:30 celebration. It'll go till 2. From my understanding, we'll have inflatables, we'll have food trucks, we'll have temporary tattoos for kids, but also me, maybe Ryan. And
I'm gonna go with the Mike Tyson tattoo look.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah,
we used to do the July 4th. We used to do like Freedom Fest here at the Springs.
Heard it was a big deal,
and it was awesome. Tons of people came to the campus and hung out with us. But one year, I have pictures because they're on my Facebook, and Facebook lives forever. I had a Spider-Man full face Spider-Man, and I want to say I was like in 11th grade.
Yeah.
So you're never too old for a good face painting, temporary tattoo, whatever it is. My child, my oldest, my daughter will definitely be getting a temporary tattoo, probably a princess one. And then I'll be shortly behind
And you'll
her.
be in the Spider-Man one.
That's exactly right. I'm going to say, actually, can we do full face Spider-Man just for the memories? But anyway, guys, come out to that. It'll be a ton of fun. We're going to celebrate the service itself here in Ocala, Southwest, Lady Lake. Will be in full celebration of the 30th. And then at Middleton, they've been going through Uncharted, which we did at that campaign here at the Springs. Is that 1.5, 2 years ago at this point?
No, it was exactly a year ago, and so in a way, it kind of feels like Groundhog's Day.
Right.
Where you're like, wait a
reliving.
minute, but it's awesome, and they're getting ready to wrap it up,
and they're going to celebrate in their own way, which is that the Springs has been around for 30 years. That's a new campus, a new location, budding with life, and it's like we get to see how God has moved in the last 30 years, but understanding that we really are just getting started with Middleton.
And even Jacob and I worked on his message today, and just knowing what he's going to be talking about, we're just so pumped. We're just so excited about what God's doing.
Crazy, man. Crazy what the growth that they've had, and for it to just do what they have done so quickly.
Yeah.
Man, exciting, and already almost close to 1,000 people at that campus, which is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, in 11 months.
Yeah, so not bad. A lot of life change, and there's going to be a lot of celebration at the Middleton campus this weekend as well. But yeah, so if you guys want to come hang out with us at the Ocala campus, regardless of where you typically attend on Sunday, which campus, but 11:30 to 2 will be a ton of fun. Now, Ryan, the most important part of this episode, we have a Thanksgiving food draft. And I texted you the other day, and I was like, I think it was on Sunday. You were teaching, so the podcast was on my mind. And then, I was like, hey, we're going to do a Thanksgiving food draft. And you're like, I don't really know what that is, but let's do it.
Yeah.
And I sent you a link to an example, and you're like, yeah, we're definitely doing this. So the way this will work, I guess we'll never really know the winner unless the other concedes, which I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we're going to go essentially just back and forth to see who can draft the best team of Thanksgiving food. So let's say you pick turkey. Mm-hmm. Let's say you pick turkey. That's off the board.
You're trying to set me up right now.
That's off the board.
You're trying to set me up right now.
That's off the board, and it leaves me free to take whatever I want, but I just can't take turkey after that. So we will alternate until we each have 5 dishes or foods. So we'll get creative and kind of on the fly.
And like in a way, it's as if we were compiling the perfect dish. You know, like if I walked away with this plate, you would be like, he won.
He won.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get into it. We'll do the listeners won't be able to know what's happening here, but just know we are playing rock, paper, scissors. We're going to do, for the time's sake, just one.
Yeah.
One rock, paper, scissors, and whoever wins gets the first pick.
Great.
Okay? All right. You ready?
Yep.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh,
he got
Let's go.
me.
We started off strong.
Yeah, who are you taking number 1?
Deviled eggs for sure.
Dude, you're so right.
Listen, I like the greatest Thanksgiving food.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. So I think if you're going deviled eggs, I got to take this one from you early. Mashed potatoes.
Oh, gosh.
We're going mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes is a good choice.
So I've got mashed potatoes. You got deviled eggs. What do you got next?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to go with stuffing.
Oh, yeah, man. Number 1 pick. You have a lot of advantage here. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, man.
So you got what? Deviled eggs and stuffing.
Yes.
And then at this point, I've got my mashed potatoes, and I think I'm going to go corn casserole.
Corn casserole.
Yes.
That's a wild card.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've had corn casserole. So
really,
what is corn casserole?
Oh, to be honest, I don't know. People just bring it.
You chose the number 2?
It's corn. It's got like breading on the top.
Interesting.
And you put it in the oven, whatever. It's cheese, and it's super unhealthy version of corn.
Oh, okay. So it's like cheesy corn.
Basically.
Okay.
But it's a casserole. It's in a big dish.
That's what a casserole is. Whatever,
yeah.
And cheese.
Yes.
Okay.
So mashed potatoes, corn casserole.
Okay.
I by far have the fattest plate so far. And what is your pick, number 3?
Don't worry, I'll rise to the occasion.
Okay.
Mac and cheese.
That's a great one. Mac and cheese. I do feel good about your plate for sure. Mac and cheese. I'm gonna go. I'll be honest. I'm looking at a list right now. I've got to do it. Pumpkin pie.
Dang, that's a good one.
We're going dessert early.
Yeah,
here.
Look at you. Okay.
Pumpkin pie. And I think we limit each other to maybe 1 dessert per person. Yeah. So 4th pick for you.
I think at this point I'd go green bean casserole.
Green bean casserole?
Yeah, man. With the onion on top. Oh.
Yeah. That's fine. I don't think I'd. You could have had that pick last.
All right.
Yeah. So we're gonna stay on the casserole route for me.
Oh no.
I'm going sweet potato casserole.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet potato casserole. I am a sucker for sweet potatoes and clearly casseroles.
Yeah. Yeah.
At this point,
I'm pretty much down the board.
I don't eat casseroles
except for green
at
beans.
any other
That's where
point
you
in the
draw the
year.
line.
But for Thanksgiving, we're doing it.
All right.
So this is your last pick. This is a big pick.
Okay. All right. So here's the deal. This is a sleeper pick.
Okay.
And the reason for this is my entire life, up to about like in my 20s, I always looked at it and thought, why would you dip this? And of course, what I'm talking about is cranberry sauce. Like, why would you get this? Until I realized you just put it on everything and it just makes it come together. Oh.
So in this instance, you're not going any desserts.
No. Pumpkin pie is my dessert, man. Once you took that, I'm out.
Pumpkin pie's your dessert.
Yeah, if I don't see, I'm not a big dessert guy.
Okay.
But
it shows you didn't draft anything dessert wise.
Well, I mean, like next up was like, I don't know, like pecan pie, but even then, no, man, it's pumpkin pie or bust.
Okay, so this is my final pick, and I got to round it out this way. I think I'm gonna go. I'll be honest. Now that all your picks are off the table, I'm going between rolls or ham.
See, that's the thing that was on. Yeah,
and so I don't want to go turkey because I don't really care for turkey.
Yeah, me either, man.
Dark meat turkey is way better in my opinion. Juicier, better. But I do think I've got to go ham. Yeah. I don't have any meat. I'm going ham. So that's rounds out my starting 5. You've got yours. We'll run down this real quick, and people listening, feel free to tell us in the lobby on Sunday
How
who
I was
actually-
right and Luke was obviously wrong.
to be determined. Let's go through the thing and we'll see here, and then we'll move on. But so Ryan's perfect plate is deviled eggs, stuffing, mac and cheese, green bean casserole, and cranberry sauce. What are you putting your cranberry sauce on?
Well,
I think, dude, you're just gonna be shoveling cranberry sauce. With the
you
spoon.
just take that, you slice it out of the can, and you just
He's gonna be trying to steal the ham off my
yeah,
plate.
yeah.
Cranberry sauce.
Okay, this is not a cohesive dish.
Okay, you said plate.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All right.
To be fair.
And then mine is mashed potatoes, corn casserole, sweet potato casserole, ham, pumpkin pie.
All right. Conceptually, you do have the most rounded.
I'm bad. I feel very good about my plate. Now, I would be trying to steal both the stuffing and the deviled eggs
Yes.
off your plate because those rightfully went one.
And to
two
be
for you.
honest, like at least in my experience, those first two things end up meaning I'm not eating the rest.
Right? Yeah, because the deviled eggs,
Dude,
I don't know if that's an appetizer or an entree because it can be whatever.
think about breakfast. You're like, I'll have 1 or 2 eggs, 2 because I'm feeling a little bit like I need protein today.
Right.
Deviled eggs, that flies out the window.
Dude, you eat
I'll
like
have 10.
10 of them.
Yeah.
And they're half, so you're eating 5 eggs.
Yes.
Plus, there's mayonnaise and whatever else in the yolk mixed
Dude,
up.
Have you ever had like a deviled egg with a little bit of bacon on top?
Oh,
Game
That's
changer.
a problem.
Yep.
That is a problem.
It's a real problem.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you guys. I hope you guys had as much fun as we did. I'm not conceding. I don't think Ryan's conceding. So you guys let us know who won the 2024 Thanksgiving Food Springs podcast Beyond Sunday draft. It's a really long name, but we got there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we'll switch gears a lot.
A lot.
We're gonna switch gears a lot. We're gonna talk about the message, and probably one main concept from this message that really stuck out to me and is super practical. So this past weekend, really your main point was about the whole concept of the message was about joy, and how do we gain joy? What is it? And you went on to talk about that all the things that joy is. And the things that joy isn't, that we get it kind of confused with, whether that's with happiness or whatever that might be. But the one thing that really stuck out to me was you talked about living life with inconvenience to see joy in return. Because so often it feels like whether we know it or not, we're trying to chase after joy.
Yeah.
But we don't really know how to attain it, or we don't want to do the things to attain it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it's something that, like, during this message, I was like, man, this is something that is so simple to achieve, that fruit of the Spirit, but it's so hard at the same time.
Yeah. And it's like antithetical to the way that we process. So like I said it in the message, the world, when we talk about joy in the terms of how the world defines it, what that usually means is, what do I receive and get? And so I think, not to hearken to like Christmas season and stuff, but like if you think about the Christmas story, or with what's his name, Scrooge, and his whole life is about everything that he can get, and you find out that he's joyless, soulless. He has everything, comfort wise, but then he looks back on his life and sees that it's devoid of all of those, and so. The same is true. Like God is calling us to live for others, and it's when we live for others that joy develops and grows, because we get outside of ourselves. And so, that was like the big moment of just, if you want joy, do the opposite and live to be inconvenienced by the people around you.
Right. And I want to kind of talk with you about ways that we can inconvenience ourselves and experience joy as a result. And most practical is this past weekend, backpacks for Haiti and meal packing. That, like, there was a point where we got to the end of the session. I was the last session on Saturday and the last session for the food packing in general. But it got to the end and they were on stage listing the numbers. Like, this is how many meals that we've done. That means this many kids are going to be fed. And it was something crazy, like 500 something or 600 something.
532 kids were going to get food for a year.
And just hearing that brought so much joy. I didn't expect it because it's really hard for something to come across, for you to really understand and process something when it's not like I can't see it. I can't see the children that are being fed. I never will see those kids. You know what I mean? I'll never probably meet them and anything, but we made a difference. And like that's when like she was saying the numbers and I got emotional. I didn't expect it. It like crept up on me.
Yeah.
But in that moment I experienced joy because I know that will bring them joy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's such a great example because I was in there with you. And I didn't know, by the way, how labor intensive that was going to be for me because I came in with a hoodie and they're like warehouse crew. And I was like, I'll do it. And what I learned is at no point in time would I stop moving and carrying heavy things across the room. And so I'm like sweating and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is my Saturday. And, and I did not dress appropriately. But yeah, it was a blast. We had so much fun. Yes. But then there was the moment when it was all kind of over and everybody was like, okay, we're kind of done. And then when they started sharing those moments, what we had actually done as a church, that it all just kind of like came in. And for me, it was when they asked me to pray for the pallet of food and for its protection and for the provision and for the workers. And I got emotional because to me, this is real. Like this is truly going to help somebody. And so the joy that I felt was just that I got to participate in helping someone find nourishment. It's a real feeling of being able to step into that need and just to be thankful and have joy to be able to do something positive for somebody, even though you'll never meet them.
I want to shout out someone that was at my station for the meals, and his name is Connor. I had never met Connor before. Connor was a man of few words. He's 10, and he was doing
a man of few words.
He was doing the scooping. He was locked in.
Yeah, dude.
He was scooping, and when I tell you that it was like it was maybe one of the most mature 10-year-olds I've ever met. For the sole fact that kid never took a bathroom break. That kid never asked to play games. Just a unit, just going after it, right?
Yeah.
And eventually, like his dad was with us, and his dad said to him, "Do you want to switch and do what he was doing, which is the scales?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." Like my arms are getting kind of tired, and it had been like an hour at this point. So the kid's just been going for an hour, and then he steps up to the scale, and he's doing it efficiently, knocking it out, not complaining, not doing anything, aside from what he was asked to do. And I was so impressed with Connor. And then, so shout out to him. And his mom actually is probably going to see this because she came up to me after. She was in a different part of the station, so I didn't really get to talk to her much at all before this. But she came up to me, introduced herself, and just said, "Thanks for doing the podcast. I listen. Cool. I listen every week. I really appreciate that you guys are doing this." So shout out to both of them for different reasons, but especially Connor because that was incredible. But I know his mom is watching this, so you guys have done an incredible job raising Connor because he was incredible. So now, kind of still keeping in the same vein of inconveniencing ourselves, there's just volunteering in general. Whether that is for Backpacks for Haiti, whether it's at a place that they like a food shelter, any interfaith, whatever that might be. And there's a lot of other ways that maybe we don't think about in terms of inconveniencing ourselves to find joy. Another thing is just forgiving people. Like you forgive somebody, that releases like a bitterness that you held, and it allows joy to kind of take root because you can finally let go of whatever that thing was and forgive them and move on. Like that's when I think of just things that are inconvenient. I don't have to do that, but I feel like I need to in order to move on and find joy.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of bitterness in holding on to stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think of just like choosing a practice of serving someone else. One of the things that we started doing when I took over student ministry is there's a local organization called Foster Florida, and they throw this big Christmas party every single year, and the whole idea is essentially giving foster kids or the parents of foster kids a night off. So they bring their foster kids to this big event, and it's got all these different tents and stations, and different organizations and stuff. And they set up activities. But the coolest part about it is we set up volunteers that will basically be these foster kids' buddies through the whole night.
Wow.
And so one of the things that when I took over, what I decided to do is like, we're going to do this because not only is God's heart in this for them, but I was pretty just clear. We're not posting this on socials. We're not, celebrating the good thing that we're doing. We're going here to serve and love these kids who have had hard situations. And I could tell at first a lot of the students were like, why are you making me do this? It's because they're student leaders, right? Yes. And so they're forced to. Right. You're going to like this.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. And we went, and it was so transformational because they were realizing they're just serving without any expectation of receiving anything in return.
Yeah.
And they're learning these kids and their stories, and they're seeing the joy that these kids have doing these activities. And they're not perfect by any means. Right. Like some of these kids were pretty rough, but it was the opportunity to just care and love for somebody who is, has had a hard time. And that joy is just transformational. Like the kids would leave that just pumped about the way that they served these kids. They walked with them. They learned their stories. They played games with them for a couple hours. And that's 2 hours of time is not significant, but it was enough for them to really feel like to experience the joy and thankfulness of just being able to walk with somebody. Yeah. It's just an awesome thing that we did.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And there's so many ways to experience joy by inconveniencing yourself.
Right.
There's so many, whether it is serving, whether it's just putting aside everything and forgiving someone because you want to experience the joy that you should have. Or it's things like sharing your faith. Mm-hmm. Even when it feels inconvenient. Oh, I don't have that much time. I got to go do this. But I feel a conviction that I'm supposed to talk to this person. I don't know who they are. I don't know their story, but maybe there's a reason. And so doing that and the joy of being part of someone's salvation journey, it's hard to do anything better than that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then kind of just to give other people, our listeners, more practical ways is just simply like things like giving generously, whether that is your time, like we talked about serving, or monetarily with your money, whatever it might be. But anything that is just something that, oh man, I don't need to do this. But you'll find that often the things that you don't need to do are the things that end up being the most fruitful.
And when you say the time and obviously financially, I literally had a conversation today, and it was somebody who was invited in to give towards backpacks for Haiti.
Right.
And what struck me the most about their generosity is, like, we think about, I don't know, maybe this says something about me. When someone asks me for money, I'm like, all right, let's see what I can do, kind of begrudgingly.
Right.
And this person was like, thank you so much for this. And they were like, I was like, yeah, well, the church is so blessed that you'd be willing to do this. And he was like, no, the blessing is both ways.
Wow.
And it's just like seeing the joy in that. That's like a selfless decision, or the joy in giving your time. And honestly, like, you see this in student ministry. It's a commitment, but there's so much joy. Yeah. And it is like explosive seasons of joy. Yeah. Particularly, like, talk about Inconvenience camp, right? You mean I've got to stay in a cabin with
leave my family for a few days.
Leave my family, leave my life and go off and, try to make sure none of these kids kill each other. And then you leave that and you see the joy in them. You see the joy in yourself because you gave your time. Yeah. I just wholeheartedly believe that that's like God's intent for us. Like we said in the message, we begin with Jesus and a transformed heart. And then that goes into the way we see others and the joy that's imparted on us from that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot that we can say about joy. But we will never regret putting others before ourselves.
No.
And humbling ourselves and finding that joy, because there is something in it for us, and it is that joy. But anyway, Ryan, I've really appreciated our conversation, from the Thanksgiving draft to this and this whole conversation, in ways that we can really apply ourselves and experience joy as a result. So anything that we want to say here before we wrap up?
I'm super excited about this weekend. The
Dude,
30th, it's going to be incredible.
It's going to be a lot of fun. The service will be different. Make sure that you were there on time, and it's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys tuning in, listening, taking time out of your week. We hope that you guys were able to get something out of this as well. And then also in the link of this episode will be a small group leader guide that you guys can do with your small group based on the message from Sunday. So feel free to do that, and we will catch you guys next time. See ya.